Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ernie Rosa Pro, thegoddessstyle.com. I've been away a bit because it's been chaotic since I got home. The husband left to go back to Denmark with my youngest because my mother-in-law got taken quite ill, had to go for an emergency operation. And so as soon as I came back to Thailand, to Phuket, my husband had to leave for 2 weeks. So it was just me alone with the kids and the dogs and the 4 cats and the bird. And then when he came home, I was going to start filming again. And then last week, a lovely friend who moved to Phuket at the same time as me from the UK, very unfortunately, an hour after we spoke on the phone, she passed on. Very young lady, still in her 50s. So I've been sort of recovering from the shock and, you know, beginning to be grieving right now. But I wanted to come back with a new video because it's Christmas and I wanted to bring on a another video to talk about Christmas presents. And in keeping up with the goddess vibes of this channel, you know, it's all about living a holistic life, living an authentic life, and trying to be as eco-friendly as possible, which I'm not always successful, but I'm trying my best. So I hope I can share with you what I've gleaned, and I hope you too can share with me. So today we are talking about period pants. Not a glamorous topic, but I wanted to sort of brought it up because, you know, in living in Thailand, in Phuket, I'm trying my hardest to lead a slightly more green life, you know, with less wastage, and, you know, the recycling and eating less, you know, there's no takeaway food here that I am buying, everything is fresh. So I thought, what else can I do to lead a more, you know, green life? So when I was back in Europe, you know, last month, I was shopping in Primark and I came upon this set of period pants. By the way, please excuse the mess in the background. I'm still not finished unpacking from the move. You know, it's taking time. We are still building shelves and my husband has just built me this lovely, you know, as an IKEA set, this lovely makeup table and all that. So excuse the mess. Anyway, so I found these period pants in Primark in Spain. And I thought, oh, I've heard about this, but I've never really, you know, looked into it a little bit more. Now, bear in mind, our 4 parents, our 4 grandmothers, you know, our 4 bears, didn't have sanitary pads or tampons to deal with. My mother actually told me when she was growing up, she had to cut little pieces of cloth, layer them, and then sew them by hand to make a pad, right? Which she then, you know, used and then, you know, washed. So she had to make a few sets of them in order to use and wash as she went along, you know. And this is like in the 40s and 50s, right? So it wasn't too long ago, before, you know, when we were still very basic. And then of course, with the advance of plastic, we came up with sanitary napkins and, you know, tampons and things like that. Now, while I stopped using sanitary napkins in my teens because I discovered that I was highly allergic to the components in them. It used to contain a lot of gel that absorbed, you know, very heavy periods. I started developing allergic reaction, like my skin was just not working so well. I switched to tampons, and then, you know, it was the plastic lining one, and then it was still a little bit, I still felt like it was getting a bit of cramp, and then I switched to OB, which was a little bit more, you know, natural because it was all cotton. But you know what, at the end of the day, all these things contain chemicals, you know, like you know, and they've been made without very green, you know, ingredients in them. So it does make me think, like, how many tampons am I throwing a day every time I have my period? I don't really have very long periods. My periods last at best 3.5, you know, 4 days, and I would use, you know, a couple a day. So I was still throwing quite a considerable amount per month, and then times that by a year, and then by the billions of women in this world. So we are throwing away a lot of plastic, especially if you're using sanitary napkins. They are covered in plastic. They're not biodegradable. They don't get they do get absorbed by the ground, you know, as they break down into microplastics, and of course they go into our groundwater, they go into the ocean, and then we eat them as microplastics, which we are all talking about. You know, this is COP26 this year. We're talking about how to reduce our plastic usage, how to reduce environmental damage. So I started off trying to be green by using one of these, okay, which is the menstrual cup, the moon cup, right? It was all right. I did find it a bit fiddly to stick it up my noo-noo, and then it was just too stiff. I didn't like it. I mean, this particular brand that I bought in Spain, I didn't like it. I gave my daughter the slightly smaller cup, and I took the, you know, the medium size, because she said, "Mom, you've had 4 kids. I'm still, you know, a virgin." So maybe I eat the smaller one and you take the bigger one. I didn't like it. I mean, it was not like I had a lot of, you know, when you see this, you don't really have as much blood as you think you do. But it's just a matter of just washing it, and then, you know, you put it back up. But then when you're in the public toilet, how do you wash this? In Asia, it's easy, because in every public cubicle in Asia, even in Thailand, they have this little handgun, you know, that you can use to wash your foam, you know, your balm or everything else, and then you put your tissue paper, and then you clean up, so you double wash. So you can literally use this and wash them in the cubicle. Take a tissue, wipe it down, and then you can put it back up your foam. But again, it was really not comfortable for me, so I stopped using them, and then I went back to my tampons. So when I found this panties, this period pants, when I bought 4 of them, well, actually I've got 2 sets of these, and then 1 of these plain black ones. I thought, oh, I'm gonna try this. This is going to be like my, you know, I don't wait for the new year to change, you know, to have a new resolution. So I thought I'm gonna start before the new year. So they look like this. Let me just find one that looks a bit nice. So this is a period pants from the back. This is the front, and all of them have black lining, right? So this one from Primark has got, if you can see, this one says medium, and this one, the green one, says medium too, and this gray one is, I think it's heavy. Yeah, heavy, and it's got like 4 water sign, and the medium one has a 3 water sign. So they are not great, even though it says heavy here. I find that it is not great for very, very heavy period, you know, users. What you can do is, well, my daughter, you know, being a teenager, I bought a set for her. I told her to try. She has very heavy periods. So she made a mistake of putting this on very early in the morning before school, kind of like 7 a.m. And then by the time she got home from school, about 3 o'clock, she was soaking everywhere onto her school uniform, which is very embarrassing for her, of course, as a teenager. So we realized that this is not going to replace a thick sanitary napkin. This is great to be used for about, say, 5-6 hours. So you really need 2 sets in a day, not just one pants the whole day, and then you come home and then you're like, okay, I'm just gonna switch to something else. So you need at least 2 or 3 a day, depending on how heavy your periods are. But I'm telling you, I have never ever felt so comfortable having my period. I mean, these are big granny pants. Well, not too granny. They just sit on your below your belly button, on your hips, and it's so comfortable. I have the size M. I could go for the small, but I think it would just be a bit too squeezy, especially, you know, when you're having a period, you're a bit bloated, you want something comfortable, you want something over your belly. So I found this really, really good. I bought one more from Primark, and this is the big black, you know, plain, and this is a little bit bigger, as you can see from here. No, actually it's slightly different. They're both M, but as you can see, this is a little bit smaller on the waist, and it's a little bit higher, I think. No, it's about the same. Anyway, and this black one on its own is also heavy. This is heavy. So what I do like about this is that, you know, because some of you might feel like, oh, I don't really want to see my blood, I don't want to see my period, I don't want to be washing it. But you know what, actually this is great because it is black. You don't have to see your blood. When you finish wearing them, as I do, I take them to the sink, turn on your cold tap, put some soap, and I just, you know, sort of just do this. You know, you just wash it as best as you could under running water. You should not ever wash anything that has blood with warm water because you're going to stain the material. So blood should always be treated with cold water, and if you have salt, it's even better. But who keeps salt in their bathroom, right? I mean, I could technically keep a bowl of salt in my bathroom for this purpose, but for just 3 days a month, I'm not gonna bother. But anyway, so I wear this, you know, in the morning when I wake up, put this on, and then in the afternoon I wash this, and then I put another one on. So, you know, in one day I will have 3 going, and then as soon as I wash them, I literally put them together with a wash, or I just wash them really well. I'll hang them to dry, and by next morning, you know, one of the other pants is already dry for me to put on. So I actually am so in love with these period pants, and I really hope you give this gift for yourself as for your Christmas present, because you're just doing good for your body. They're non-toxic. With tampons, you do have the toxic shock syndrome possibility, which, you know, in my 40-odd years, or well, over 30 years of having my period, touch wood, I have not had any issues with using a tampon, except realizing that with sanitary pads I'm allergic to them. But you know what? It's never too late. I am still having my period in my late 40s. I don't know how long more I'm going to continue having my period. But I find that these things are a lifesaver. I feel so comfortable. I feel so relaxed. I don't feel like I'm going to leak everywhere for some reason compared to my tampons. For some reason, I feel like I'm going to leak. It's going to pop out anytime when it gets too heavy. I feel like I am doing my best for the environment and also for my body. I am not putting any toxins in my body. These are all pure cotton, and I think there is bamboo fiber in here. There are out there biodegradable pads. There are biodegradable, you know, sanitary napkins, and they're not so common. I know in India they're coming up with more and more. I mean, these are basic rights for women to actually have a safe and healthy menstruation, and not all of us get this opportunity. But it's funny how we are going back by the decades. We are going back to what my grandmother, my mom were using when they were growing up, except they had to make their own reusable sanitary napkins. I just buy them as a fancy underwear, you know, as a fancy panties, and Bob's your uncle is so easy. So anyways, if you have used them before, tell me what you think. What's your opinion? Do you still prefer a cup for being green, or do you still prefer having your tampon or your sanitary napkins? Excuse me. I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to hear what you have to say. And in the meantime, happy shopping for Christmas. I am going to go now for a Christmas party with a husband. That's why I'm dressed. I know you can see I'm dressed nicely. I've got my makeup on. I'm ready to go. It's a German Christmas party, our first one here in Phuket by our new friends. So I look forward. So in the meantime, stay safe, stay goddess-like, stay happy and cheerful, and keep smiling. Love you guys. Bye.